What's up, guys? We are over halfway through the 2024 NFL season. We're heading into week 12. The draft order is more solidified than it has been in the past, and I think we can get a good feel of where teams are generally going to pick. So I thought it'd be fun to fire up the mock draft simulator and do a midseason mock draft. So let's get into it. First up is the Jacksonville Jaguars. This pick is fairly easy for me. Uh, Two of their biggest needs is corner and wide receiver, and there's a guy that could play either or position, and that's Travis Hunter out of Colorado. Um, I would prefer him as a corner personally, just because I think it's a lot easier to get a high caliber wide receiver than a all pro corner, I guess. And I think he has special ball skills as a corner, like I maybe the best I've ever seen, to be honest. And he can fill either need. He like I said, he could play wide receiver or a corner, or he could play like a little bit of receiver and be a full time corner. Yeah. So I don't think the Jags can go wrong in a lot of ways here, but I Travis Hunter would be my pick for sure. The second overall pick belongs to the Tennessee Titans. As much as I love a certain quarterback in this class, I think I'm going to fade him just because they're the Titans. Um, Will Levis has been playing better than he has in the past, I guess, these last few weeks. And this offensive infrastructure is not good. They don't really have a great offensive line. They don't have great receivers, or even good receivers. They have like one good receiver in Calvin Ridley. And Nick Westbrook-Ikhine has been doing good too. But um, I'd like to build up the offensive infrastructure and see if Levis, what he has. I mean, I don't want to throw a quarterback in here, so I'm going to go with Tedoroa McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona. He's a big X receiver. He's a wide receiver one in a lot of drafts. Yeah, I think pure wide receiver wise, he's my number one. Travis Hunter just goes ahead of him because he has such positional versatility. But yeah, Tedoroa McMillan gives Tennessee the receiver that they've been striving for since they traded AJ Brown, to be honest. The third overall pick is the Cleveland Browns, and I think this is that quarterback that we're talking about. I think I'm going to take him here. Cam Ward out of Miami. I'm pretty sure he's a fifth year senior. I know he's pretty old, but transferred from Incarnate Word to Washington State last year or a couple years ago, and now last year transferred from Washington State to Miami. He's awesome. Like I think he's the undisputed quarterback one in this class. I think he's really good. The Browns have to draft the quarterback, in my opinion. If they're here and there's like Cam Ward is here, I think they have to pick him. They can't keep rolling out Deshaun Watson and Jameis Winston is old, and Jameis Winston is Jameis Winston, I guess. And I don't know. I just think if Cam Ward is here, the Browns have to pick him. So yeah, we're gonna go with Cam Ward. The Giants up next. They also need a quarterback. However, I don't know. Like, I understand why they put in Tommy DeVito. I really do. Starting this week, they're going to start for the rest of the season because I'm sure they want to lose enough games to be able to pick that first quarterback because it seems like they've missed out on quarterbacks the last couple years. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to pick. I don't really like any other quarterback this high. Um, this is tough. I mean, if I would like them to trade up in real life, maybe with the Titans or the Jags if this happens. But I'm not going to do any trades, it's too early to mess around with the trades. I am going to draft Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. They need a cornerback. Their secondary is not good. They drafted Deontay Banks in 2023, who has really not been good at all. Um, their secondary is struggling. They don't really have a great secondary, and Will Johnson is a CB1 in the NFL. I think he has the potential to become that. Um, I think he's the best pure cornerback in this class. Once again, the conversation about Travis Hunter being ahead of him because of positional versatility is there. But yeah, I think Will Johnson at fourth in the top five is a great pick. Selecting with the fifth overall pick is the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm going to go against my quarterback thing about not wanting to pick anyone here. And I'm just going to put myself in the team, like in the team's shoes. And I think I wouldn't do this, but I think they draft Shadur Sanders. Um, I don't know. He just seems like a Raider. I don't really know. I don't know if any other teams, if there's a lot of teams that would draft him in the first round, just due to his demeanor, I guess, and his like culture fit. But I think the Raiders like they desperately need to draft a quarterback, and I don't know. I don't think the Giants would draft them, but I do think the Raiders would. So yeah, I'm gonna draft Shadur Sanders with the fifth pick. Sixth pick, the Patriots. They're also kind of in a tough spot. They have their two biggest needs are by far offensive line and wide receivers. You can see in the simulator, but I like I want to draft a wide receiver so bad. I want to give Drake May a real wide receiver one. You know, they have a Kayshon Boutte and Demario Douglas and Kendrick Bourne, but like I don't know. It's just like I don't really want to draft Luther Burden like six overall. None of those guys like all these guys are good, but I don't know if any of them are true wide receiver ones. So I'm gonna go with Will Campbell, the tackle from LSU. I think he's a tackle one in this class. They need a left tackle, and he can be it. So yeah, Will Campbell is going to be the franchise left tackle for the Patriots in the future. The Jets with the seventh overall pick. This is also kind of a weird spot. They need a quarterback. They need a lot of things to be honest, but like I don't know if there's a like. I'm not the biggest Jalen Milroe guy, and I don't know if Jalen Milroe is a Jet. I don't even know. Like maybe they just keep on with rolling out with Rodgers because they have him. I mean, I don't really know, but I'm going to fade a quarterback, and I'm going to take Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. He's really good. He has not slowed down this year. He was might have been the number one prospect coming into the season, and he hasn't slowed down at all. He's really good. He's probably the best defensive tackle prospect that I've seen since Jalen Carter. He's super good, and pair him next to Quinnen Williams, and that's a scary front. So they just have a lot of needs, but unfortunately, we can only pick one. So I think Mason Graham is the best player available, though. The Carolina Panthers with the eighth overall pick. This is Abdul Carter for me for sure. They need an edge rusher really bad. Um, Bryce Young has been playing better. Maybe they roll with him one more year. Once again, there isn't a receiver. Like I like Luther Burden, but like I don't know. I just think Abdul Carter is a better prospect. Uh, Positional, like position for position, I guess if that's a thing. But like, I just think he's a better prospect overall. So I'm gonna go with Abdul Carter. They desperately need that help, edge help. They have Jadeveon Clowney, and like that's it. So yeah, Abdul Carter, edge out of Penn State. The Cowboys at nine. This is a super popular Ashton Jeanty spot. I just don't know if the Cowboys draft him uh, in the top 10. They have so many other needs. Would have drafted Mason Graham here. I don't know. They do need edge help for sure. But I don't know. I don't know if they draft Genty as much as maybe they should. Um, I don't know. Maybe I think they need pass rush help a lot. In fact, I know they do. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Genty after I contradicted myself a little bit. I think I'm gonna go Genty. He's a Jameer Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley level running back prospect, and yeah, he's special. And you can see how all those guys are doing in the NFL. I mean, drafting those running backs those high, like those kind of prospects, they're hard to come by. So I'm gonna go with Ashton Genty to juice up Dallas's run game. The 10th overall pick, the New Orleans Saints are on the clock, and this is a kind of weird spot. Like I think they could use about everything. I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they finally gonna destruct and like sell and get rid of all those contracts and finally get out of cap hell? I don't know because they didn't fire their GM, but they did fire their coach. Um, they drafted Talise Fuaga last year in the first round, so I'm gonna go with a pass rusher, specifically Nick Scourton. I think he is one of the best pass rushers in this class. There's a lot of good pass rushers in this class, in my opinion, but he's a pretty big guy. I think yeah, he's I'm pretty sure he's around. Yeah, he's 285. Yeah, he's a big guy. The Saints like the bigger pass rushers, so I'm gonna go with Nick Scourton, a transfer from Purdue, Texas A&M edge rusher. The Bengals with the 11th overall pick. They can go a lot of ways here too. I think they go offensive line, they can go wide receiver. I mean, if Genty was still here, they could easily pick Genty at running back, defensive line. They need secondary help. They they could draft a lot of positions here. Um, I think I'm going to go with Luther Burden. I think he'd be very fun in this offense. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Luther Burden. Uh, he's a very good wide receiver. He hasn't had as great of a year as yet he did previous, but he's still a really good receiver. I think he's an easy first round pick. So yeah, Luther Burden, and then they don't have to worry about re-signing T. Higgins. They can give that money to like Trey Hendrickson or someone like that. The Miami Dolphins with the 12th pick. I think this is 100%, our offensive line 100% of the time, and I would run up the pick for Kelvin Banks Jr. Kelvin Banks Jr. is a top 10 pick in my opinion. Um, yeah, I think this is a fall for him. He's a franchise tackle. Yeah, and the Dolphins need offensive line help. They just refuse to draft offensive linemen in the first round for some reason. It seems like so. Yeah, Kelvin Banks to potentially replace Teron Armstead. 13th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do think this is edge once again, or corner. They do need cornerback help. They traded Carlton Davis. And yeah, I don't really love a corner here. There are a ton of edges. Jalen Walker, he's categorized in a linebacker, but I think he can easily play edge. I think he's better as an edge. Michael Williams would be a good pick. I'm gonna go with Michael Williams. That would be really. I think Michael Williams would be a Todd Bowles kind of player, just an absolute athletic freak. And yeah, the Bucks need their edge help every year. It never seems like they have enough pass rushers. So let's just add to that, I guess. The Bears with the 14th pick. This has to be an offensive lineman, in my opinion, or an edge rusher. There's a real run at edge rushers and offensive linemen early, but I'm gonna go with Ariante Ursary. He is a. I think he could play guard. He's a tackle, but he's a punishing run blocker. He's honestly a lot like Darnell Wright, the I believe the right tackle. He plays right tackle for the Bears. That they drafted in 2023 with the 10th pick or the ninth pick, somewhere around there. And yeah, I think he can slide into guard or take over at tackle if they want to move on from Jackson Jones, who's been iffy all this year. So yeah, I'm going to draft Ariante Ursary. The Colts with the 15th pick. Uh, they could use literally about everything as well, in my opinion. The offensive line is the strongest unit, but it's pretty old. They could go there. They need pass rush help, in my opinion. Uh, Secondary help. They're set on receiver, and one guy's sticking out here, and that's Malachi Starks. He's really good. I think this is the year that the NFL's finally going to draft these like hybrid safety nickel corner guys early because especially with the emergence of like Brian Branch and Jalen Petrie and those guys like being all pro level defenders. I think that's going to shift, and Malachi Starks is like he's in the Brian Branch mold for me. I think he's that good, and yeah, Malachi Starks at the 15th, that's good value. So yeah, and it's a need the secondary nickel corner, so or safety nickel corner. So yeah, Malachi Starks from Georgia. The Seahawks, 16th overall. They do need offensive line bad. Yeah, offensive line is bad. I don't know. That's like their biggest need by far, in my opinion. Um, I think it's too early to draft an interior guy. Yeah, I mean Tyler Booker, he's rated low in PFF. I think he's a second round player, but not the first round. I'm gonna go with Cam Williams. He's a really raw tackle prospect, but he has all the traits in the world. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go with Cameron Williams. I think he's the next best offensive line prospect available. The Los Angeles Rams at 17, they also need offensive line, although Cam Williams is the last like offensive tackle that I would like really feel as a true first rounder. Um, Other than that, corner is a need for sure. They're struggling there. And Benjamin Morrison is available. He got hurt, but he's really good. He had a really good year in 2023. Siobhan Ravel is there, another guy who got hurt, but he's a smaller school guy. I'm interested to see how Siobhan Ravel, how his draft process goes, considering that he's a small school guy who has all the athletic traits in the world and is really good, but got injured. Either or, I think I'm going to pick Benjamin Morrison here. They need a corner really bad. They shored up their defensive line and their pass rush. It's one of the best in the NFL, and yeah, I think Benjamin Morrison is a good pick here, the cornerback from Notre Dame. 18th overall, the San Francisco 49ers. It's kind of crazy that they're picking or as of now, they're picking 18th overall. As you can see up there, offensive line and corner, I think, are the big needs. Or they could go defensive line too, in my opinion. Um, Kenneth Grant is there. He'd be a good pick. That'd be scary for San Francisco or for the opponents of San Francisco. Offensive lineman, I just don't know if I pick an offensive lineman here yet. And corner, actually, I might go Siobhan Ravel. They have Damador Lenore, Charvarius Ward, who's getting older. And yeah, those are really the only two guys that are staples in that corner room. So I think they could use extra pass rusher too. Um, I think I'm gonna go pass rusher actually. No, I changed my mind. I'm going to take Siobhan Ravel. I really love this guy, and I think he's going to go in the first round. He's that good. Yeah, Siobhan Ravel to the Niners. 19th overall, the Denver Broncos. Egbuka is sticking out to me there as a nice, consistent target for Bo Nix. I mean, the Broncos are a team that I was absolutely wrong about. I thought that they were not going to be good. I believe I predicted them to be the worst team in the NFL, actually. What a freezing cold take. I mean, man, not my greatest work, but hey, props to Sean Payton and Bo Nix are way better than I ever thought they would be. And I think I'm gonna go Ibuka here. Actually, I like that. Like I said, he's a consistent target for Bo Nix. Reliable. So yeah, Ibuka. They need receiver, in my opinion. All they really have is Cortland Sutton. The Falcons, once again, along with the Buccaneers, they just need pass rush help. They always do. They could use another corner too. They currently have Mike Hughes playing outside corner, which isn't good, but I don't know. I don't know if I pick a corner here. Jade Barron's the only guy that I feel like I'd really be comfortable taking. I think I'm gonna go with the pass rusher. There's a lot of guys that could be taken in the first round, but I I'm gonna go with James Pierce Jr. Just an athletic freak pass rusher. He was ranked a lot higher going into the year, and I don't think he's been that great this year. I mean, yeah, he's 82 PFF grade, pretty good, but more of a raw prospect. Once again, he's freaky athletic for an edge rusher. So yeah, I'm gonna go with James Pierce Jr. for the Falcons. Next up is the Arizona Cardinals. They have a lot of needs. They've been doing really good this year. I think that's a testament to coaching and having a quarterback in Kyler Murray. But they do have a lot of needs. They do need another tackle. They have Paris Johnson, but I believe Jonah Williams I think he's hurt if he's not out for the year. They could use pass rush. They traded for, is it Baron Browning, one of the Broncos pass rushers. I think it was Baron Browning. And yeah, and they also could need corner help. They need a lot of help. This defense isn't very talented, but props to them for holding up. Like I said, I think that's a testament to great coaching and Jonathan Gannon. But I do think I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball. Kenneth Grant is sticking out there. They don't really have any great defensive linemen. They drafted Darius Robinson in the first round last year. I'm gonna go with Kenneth Grant. I think he provides some pass rush in the interior. He's just a really solid player. Honestly, he's a better version of Mozzie Smith, to be honest. The Michigan defensive tackle from a couple of years ago who was just not good for the Cowboys. He's a first round pick, but Kenneth Grant he's just a lot better football player with the same athletic traits, in my opinion. So he's a lot safer pick. The Washington Commanders, tackle and pass rush are my two biggest needs here. They traded for Marshawn Lattimore. They could use another corner, I guess, but I don't know. I think they need a tackle. I mean, their offensive line isn't good at all. It's one of the worst in the NFL. Wyatt Milum or Josh Simmons here for me. Josh Simmons, I believe, is hurt. He was out for the year. I think he got hurt. Milam is having a monster year. Um, uh, Considering the Commanders' scheme, I think I'm gonna go with Josh Simmons just because he's more of a. I don't know, I think he's more of a pure pass protector, I guess, and than Milam is. I feel like Milam is a lot better run blocker. So I'm gonna go with Josh Simmons to protect Jaden Daniels in the pocket because Jaden Daniels gets hurt a lot, and luckily he hasn't this year. I mean, did, but like not anything long term. So yeah, Josh Simmons to protect Jaden Daniels. On to the Houston Texans, same thing. They need offensive line help. This could be Milam here. I think he can play guard. Um, yeah, I think this is Wyatt Milam for me. Yeah, I mean they have to go offensive line in the first two rounds for sure. I mean their interior is like probably the worst in the NFL. So yeah, Wyatt Milam to tackle from West Virginia to the Houston Texans. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens, and they need offensive linemen. They've done a lot of patchwork with their offensive line. I was critical and skeptical of their strategy of just like dumping all their veterans like Morgan Moses, John Simpson, Kevin Zeigler, those guys, and just filling them with like day two picks, day three picks. But there's really another offensive lineman that I'd take here. Cornerback is listed as a need. I don't know about that. I know their pass defense is really bad, but their personnel isn't the problem. Like Nate Wiggins is good, Brandon Stevens is good, Marlon Humphrey is still really good. I think they need a pass rusher, and Jalen Walker is like the perfect guy for them, in my opinion. I think he can be an awesome outside linebacker. I think he's a lot better, like outside linebacker than pure middle linebacker. So I'm going to go with Jalen Walker to get some pass rush help. He's similar to Kyle Van Noy. I guess he can replace Kyle Van Noy, who's having a great season, but is going to regress. I mean, he's pretty old. So yeah, Jalen Walker to the Baltimore Ravens. Next up is the Los Angeles Chargers. It's Colson Loveland. It's always going to be Colson Loveland. They need pass catchers. They need a tight end, and Jim Harbaugh has not been shy from bringing in his former Michigan players. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Colson Loveland here to the Chargers and give Justin Herbert another weapon. Next up is the Green Bay Packers. They need pass rush help really bad, and they need corner help. Jair Alexander is one of the best corners in the NFL, but he is never healthy. I was looking at the amount of games played in the last like 4 years, and I mean he's played in less than half the games I think in the last 4 years. So they have Keyshawn Nixon who's really bad. He's really bad, and Carrington Valentine I think is playing for them, who's was like a seventh round pick. Not good. They need better corners. Fortunately, I don't know if they draft a corner here. They got burnt. They haven't hit on the first round corner since Jair Alexander. I believe they drafted Kevin King in the first round, Eric Stokes in the first round, who neither of who panned out at all. Um, they do need a pass rusher, and I think there is an influx of pass rushers here. Um, I think they go Princely. Uman Mielen, I believe is how you say it, the transfer from Florida. He's having an insane year this year. He has 10 sacks already. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Princely to beef up that pass rush a little bit. It's a safe pick, I would say, drafting a pass rusher here for the Packers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they need a receiver. They need offensive line. I think their defense is fine. Could use another corner, I guess, but I don't know if I'd. I don't know. I think receiver is a bigger need, and I think the best one is Isaiah Bond. He brings an element to the Steelers offense that they don't have. They have two big physical receivers in Mike Williams and George Pickens. And they also have Roman Wilson who's going to come back, who is I think a much more of like a possession receiver. And Isaiah Bond is a field stretcher. He's really similar to the receiver last year that came out of Texas. Xavier Worthy went to the Chiefs, so yeah, I think Isaiah Bond's a good pick here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Minnesota Vikings. Um, they need a corner really bad, really bad. They also need an interior help, but once again, I just don't feel the need to force a offensive lineman here when I think all of the really good ones have been taken. I'm gonna go with Jade Barron here. He has played almost every position in the secondary at Texas. He's playing more outside corner this year, and he's really good. He's having an insane year at outside corner, 90.7 PFF grade. Yeah, I'm gonna draft Jade Barron here because they need secondary help. Byron Murphy's pretty solid, but Stephon Gilmore's old, and that's really, I mean, those are the only two guys that I would feel even comfortable trotting out in their secondary at outside corner. So Jade Barron to the Minnesota Vikings. Next up is the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, this is probably a pass rusher. They do need outside linebacker really, or inside linebacker really bad, like a off-ball linebacker. But Howie isn't going to draft it there. This is a really complete team. I mean, the deciding factor should be whether they play in the SEC. Howie Roseman loves SEC players. However, the top three guys all play in the SEC, so I can't use that tiebreaker. Um, I am going to go with Shamar Stewart, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Shamar Stewart. He was a huge prospect, a 5-star prospect, I believe, who is having a really good year, a breakout year. He's a big physical edge rusher, can probably kick inside a little bit too. Yeah, I think he's be a good fit on the Eagles to bolster up that pass rush. The Bills, once again, pass rusher, I think here. There's a ton of them that you could pick. I'm gonna go with Jack Sawyer here, the edge rusher from Ohio State. He's having an awesome year, and yeah, I think that would be a good pick once again to bolster up the pass rush for Buffalo. The Chiefs, they need a tackle so bad. They need another tackle. The thing is that they're never in position to pick a franchise tackle, so they always pick these guys like Wanya Morris and Kingsley Suamataia, like these day two guys who are okay, but probably not good enough to start. So I'm going to fade that this time. And I am going to pick Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State. He's having an amazing year and can replace Travis Kelce or play along him. Travis Kelce can play as a strictly receiver, and Warren can play in line. He's a super good blocker. He's really well rounded. Tyler Warren's really a really good prospect. So he goes to Kansas City. The Detroit Lions. I think they have like two needs here. They're listed an interior offensive line and edge. Interior isn't a weakness per se. However, it's old. It's old. Zeitler, Glasgow, and Ragnar. Honestly, they could be the best 3-8 interior offensive linemen in the NFL as a group. But actually, no, the Chiefs. The Chiefs definitely have that title. I take that back. But it's old, and those guys are going to regress. And however, similar to the conversation that we've had in the past or earlier in the video, I just it's not worth it to force an offensive lineman here. And like I said, it's deep at edge rushers, so there's going to be a little run at edge rushers late. But I think I'm going to go with LT Overton. He's a Dan Campbell type player, big, a big guy. He's 283, physically imposing. And I think he fits the Aaron Glenn defense really well. Can kick inside, like I said, and yeah, I think this is a good pick to pair with Aiden Hutchinson, and who I don't know if they're going to keep Za'Darius Smith past this year, but yeah, they definitely need to hedge help regardless. So yeah, LT Overton. All right, that is going to conclude this video, this midseason mock draft. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, see you later.